Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I would like to welcome all of you to our 283 meeting of Speakers Den Toastmasters Club. My name is Toastmaster Shanko and I'll be the Sergeant at Arms in today's meeting. In the beginning of our meeting, I would like to mention three ground rules that we are going to follow during the course of the meeting. Number one, please mute yourself if you are not speaking. Second, if you are not experiencing any bandwidth or technical issues, I would like to recommend that everyone please switch on your video. Since we are connected remotely, it would be a fantastic to get to know everyone by face. Besides, it would also help all the speakers and role takers to know the audience's reaction when they are on this virtual stage. If you are stepping out of the meeting, please remember to turn off your video. Number three, if you are using our virtual platform and make references to religion, sex, or politics, please keep in mind that these are very sensitive topics. Take caution while adopting these elements because your language and presentation should be considered of other feelings. Now, as you are aware, everyone has a mission in life. Similarly, our Toastmasters has a mission. Our Toastmasters mission is to provide an awesome platform, which is a mutually supportive environment so that each member of our club can develop their leadership and communication skills, which will help to boost their self-confidence and personal growth. Now, every meeting has a theme, and today's theme is all about election, which is very interesting because today we are going to line up about our club election as well. And to speak more about election and to how to take this meeting forward, we have someone who is a very, very enthusiastic member who is also our current club president. And he is someone who I always approach and someone who will always take care of everything. Now, if I want to go to his personal biodata, he is a metal extracted from the ores of Nagpur, hardened in the extreme weathers of the Bits Pilani, quenched in the waters of IIT Bombay. Now, working as a scientist, a cog in the corporate wheel, TCS Innovations, in the machine of Toastmasters, he has functioned as a president, the VP membership, VP PR, treasurer, CIC, club coach, LDPIN, and currently also working as the area B2 director. With that, let us give a round of applause to welcome our presiding officer for the day, Toastmaster Mudassir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sankhya, Sergeant at Arms for the day. So today we have a very special meeting. We have the club election today. So we don't have any guest today. But anyways, let me first start the meeting. Let me declare the meeting number 283 open. Let me give a brief history of Toastmasters first. Toastmasters was established in the year 1924. This was the time when very first meeting of Toastmaster took place at Santa Ana, California. And it was established by a person known as Dr. Ralph C. Smedley. It's been is about to be a 100-year-old organization in a couple of years. And in this time, the Toastmaster membership have grown to 3.5 lakh. And it has 16,000 clubs all over the world. So you can imagine how big Toastmasters is. Our own club, Speakers Den Toastmasters Club, is a 10-year-old club. And many of our old members are still a part of the club. So you can see the rich heritage in the club. So today we have a very special meeting. It's about elections. And in elections, in this election, we are going to choose the next set of ex-cons who will be leading the club in the next term. Toastmasters, if you look at the tagline, it reads, Toastmasters where leaders are made. And today, the current set of leaders are going to pass on the baton to a new set of leaders to take forward the organization and lead it to a better future. Without wasting much time, let me call on the stage the election officer. And the election officer, who is also the
Mudassir, sorry to interrupt. We will first go with the speech, then the TT, and followed by the election at the end. Ashish is here.
Ashish is only doing that, right?
Timot has been changed to Tanmay, who will be taking it.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So let me call on the stage Toastmaster of the day, Tanmay. A brief intro for him. Tanmay is a business analyst at Flipkart. He hails from the state often known as the heart of India, or the Tiger State, Madhya Pradesh. He likes to travel and visit new places, and he's a very enthusiastic person, the current VPPR of the club, and he has been instrumental in bringing in so many PR changes to the club and increasing the marketing of the club. Tanmay, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mudassir. Thank you for the warm welcome. And as all of you might have known by now, that I am the last minute entry, the wild card, as a today's team mod. So let's go a little wild and start this jungle of madness, a multiverse of madness, in the meeting number 283 at Speaker's Den. Today, generally for everyone, let me recount the flow of a meeting. It starts with 3 sections, and there are multiple role takers. The 3 sections are prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. But today we are going to have a 4th one as well, the election. The most coveted and awaited section, which happens once in 6 months and yet lays down the path for the next 6 months. We will reach there in the end of this meeting. To conduct today's meeting with all these sections, it's not a one-man's job. As Luffy from One Piece said, it's all about Nakama, your friends who help you propel forward. So today I have my friends, my fellow Toastmasters, who would be helping with this role. And for that, I would like to welcome our general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Sonal, an electronics and telecom engineer by profession, but currently handling her family business. She is an amazing Toastmasters and have been a part for the last 1.5 years. She has also gone to the division level in speech evaluation, and we have so much to learn from her every time she comes into a meeting in any role. So guys, please join with me to extend a warm welcome to Toastmaster Sonal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay. I think a lot needs to be changed in my introduction. I'm a Toastmaster for almost 3 years now. I think I gave that introduction 1.5 years ago. Yes, thank you. Nonetheless, you made me feel special. As the general evaluator, I will be evaluating the entire meeting right from the word go to the very end of the meeting. And to help me in my job today, we have the tag team. As the timer, we have Toastmaster Simi. Toastmaster Simi, could you please explain your role to us? Toastmaster Simi? Okay, so we'll get back to Toastmaster Simi. As the R counter, we have Toastmaster Velavan. Could you please explain your role to us?
So as a timer, the purpose of the as the R counter, the purpose is to note any overused words or filler sounds used as a crutch anyone who speaks during the meeting. In the R counter's log, record overlong pauses, overused words, and filler sounds relied upon too often by all the speakers. Examples include and, but, so, and
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Velavan. And as the grammarian, we have our area director, Toastmaster Mudassir.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, Toastmaster Sonal. Today I'll be taking note of the good usage of grammar, and I will be pointing out if there is any bad usage in the grammar. We also have a word of the day today, which is unanimity. And the meaning is agreement by all people involved. It's like consensus. Example, there is almost complete unanimity on the issue. I encourage all of you to use the word of the day. And whenever a person is using word of the day, please show a thumbs up. I'll present my report towards the end of the meeting. Over to you, General Director.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mudassir. And as the timer, we have Toastmaster Simi. Simi, are you?
Yeah,
comfortable
am I
with your
audible now?
resources now? Yeah.
As a timer, I'll time the table topics, speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations. I'll alert each speaker of the time they have left by showing the screen. Just sorry. Formal, I'll be using green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times remaining. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their specific speech times. Most of the speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Individual evaluation should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll raise the red card.
Looks like we lost her. If this happened during a speech, it's terrifying. So can somebody else take up the role of the timer?
Yes, Sunal, I'll take it up in case Simi is unable.
So just show us the green, amber, and red card. How will be demonstrating?
Sure. Okay, Sunal, we can proceed. I will take up the timer role.
So with that, I come with having introduced my role and the tag team, I hand it back over to Mr. T.M. Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonal, for introducing us to the tag team and for setting up the flow of the meeting and introducing us to their roles and responsibilities for the meeting. Now, moving on towards the first section, I would like to invite our first speaker of the day. Our first speaker is someone who is attempting her icebreaker speech. So it's a very big achievement because, as they say, taking the first step is the hardest. And today she is going to do wonders by taking that first step. For that, first I would like to invite her evaluator. Her evaluator is someone who I do not understand. Like, he is the one person in this meeting who I do not understand a bit that what is going on in his mind, and because he is no one other than myself. So my target speaker, Lalita, she is an HR professional, and she would be attempting her icebreaker speech in the presentation mastery pathway. Her objective is to present a well-defined speech, and I would be evaluating her on various aspects of a speech, from the content to the structure, as well as the vocal variety and gestures during the meeting. I wish best of luck to the speaker, Lalita, for her speech on A Little Girl.
Sure.
Toastmaster Lalita, over to you.
Thank you.
Just a second. Timer, please note the timing is 4 to 6 minutes.
Sure.
Over to you, Toastmaster Lalita.
Okay. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So today I'm going to tell you a story of a little girl. So this little girl was born in one of the coolest cities and also popularly known as Garden City, that's Bangalore. So she had done her schooling from Sacred Heart Convent School. So she used to go by walk to school. So there were a bunch of 5 to 6 friends. And this was the best part of the school life because this was a time they would get to gossip about their friends, the neighbors, and even teachers for that matter. So this is the best part of her school life. And as a student, this girl was very silent and she was very obedient. She was very studious. So she never missed any of her tests or doing any homework. So she was never punished. and she was quite good at her studies. So the only one drawback in her was like she used to never perform on the stage. So if someone says like we have to perform on the stage, she would just draw back. And then she completed her 10th standard. Next, she was not sure whether she has to take up science, arts, or commerce because her parents were also not highly qualified to provide her guidance. And those days, there was no Google or internet to provide her guidance. So a few of her friends, relatives, neighbors, they suggested her to take up science because science has got good scope. And also she had scored well in science and maths. And also science was a favorite subject. So with all this, like she took up science and she completed a chemical engineering and she got her first job in Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited. That was through campus placement. And thereafter, like she got married. So her husband was a government employee and he was in a transferable job. So he got transferred to a very small city. So she quit her job and she went to this small city. And the biggest challenge over there was like she was not able to find the right job. The city was very small and the job opportunities were very less. And by this time, she also had a child. And this little girl, like she always wanted to keep herself busy and she would always wanted her to be engaged in something. So she was like, what is next? Then she decided to continue her higher studies. So this time she moved into a non-technical field. So she did her MA in public administration. And then again, she did her MBA in HR management. So she had to struggle a lot because she had to balance her studies, her children, her personal life, her home. But somehow like she was able to complete these 2 degrees. And then after completing this, like she got a job as a HR, so in the same city. So she got a job at ABF Engineering International Limited. So she worked over there for 2 to 3 years. And then she realized, that city in which she is, like she cannot grow and she'll not have a career. So again, she discussed with her family, she convinced her family and they got back to Bangalore. So immediately after moving back to Bangalore, she got a job in Shell Solar. So here she worked for 2 to 3 years and the company, they closed their operations in South India. So now again, she was forced to look out for another job. So this time, like again, she got into a pharmaceutical company. She got a job at Laurus Bio. So she worked there for almost 4 to 5 years. And then later on, she moved into aerospace industry. So she's been working in this industry from past 4 to 5 years. So today, this little girl, she's a proud mother of 2 children, and she is a HR profession, and she has around 10 plus years of experience. And now she wants to improve on her public speaking skills. So that's the reason today she's standing here and she's giving her ice-breaking speech. So this little girl I was speaking about is me. So I can say like my parents are the biggest influence in my life. So especially my father. So I've learned one thing from my father is to enjoy your work and do it with passion. And there's also one proverb which has inspired me throughout my life. That is, instruction ends only in school, but education ends only with life. So this wording has motivated me throughout my life. And I always believe a person has to learn and grow and they have to overcome their weakness, no matter what the weakness is. So with this, I'm ending my speech. So my special thanks to Sankhya, like he really guided me and he just helped me throughout this. So thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. So over to you, Toastmaster.
May I request everyone to give a standing ovation to our latest icebreaker, Toastmaster Lalita.
Thank you.
For everyone who is new here, standing ovation is a long-standing tradition in Toastmasters for anyone who attempts the icebreaker speech. Because this is a step which requires daring. And today you have dared very well, Toastmaster Lalita.
Thank you.
Moving on towards our next speech. Our next speaker is someone who is one of the founding members of Speakers 10 Toastmasters, was the charter president of Indranagar Pride and has been a veteran Toastmasters for over 10 years, which is a lot. But before introducing his name, I would like to invite his evaluated Toastmaster Sankhya to give a brief about his speech objective and timings. And for this speech, I would be timing the speaker. So let me add the timer course as well.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay.
So the speaker would be attempting his level 3 project 4 from presentation mastery. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. So I would say all the best to the target speaker. Thank you, and over to you. And the speech timing is 5 to 7 minutes. And for this, the timer will be to Toastmaster Tanmay.
Just give me a second while I get the timer cards ready. Just wait a second.
Yeah, and Tanmay, I'm available now. Can I take up the time?
Sure, that would be great, Toastmaster Simi. Thank you very much.
Can you just show your screen, Simi, just once for green, amber, red? Yeah, we can see. Yeah, green, red, and yellow. Okay.
All right, with this, I welcome our speaker, Toastmaster Kaustubh, who is attempting his level 3, who is attempting his speech on level 3, project 4, presentation mastery, where the books are. Where the books are, Toastmaster Kaustubh.
In a village in the southern part of India, in the last decade of the last century of the last millennium, there lived a boy. In the grand scheme of storytelling, all characters must be portrayed well. To portray this boy, I need to say only 3 things. He was arrogant, which he still is. He was a snob, which he still is. And he is me. In the house that I grew up, in my father's chambers, there was a bookshelf that took up an entire wall. It burgeoned from the floor and climbed all the way up to the ceiling. And on the racks of this bookshelf are sat some of the biggest names in written literature. The Vedas, Upanishads, Tolstoy, Chekhov, Gorky. Now, if I'm giving you the impression that these are the books my dad reads, if I gave you the impression that these are the books I read when I grew up, absolutely not. I did not even flip the pages of these books to dust them. But all of that was about to change, because destiny was about to snatch me from the foot of this bookshelf, take me on a whirlwind tour of the literary world and bring me right back to the threshold of this temple of literature. This is my story on that journey to find my way back to the bookshelf. On the path that destiny had charted for me, my first encounter was with the language of poetry through a poem called The Highwayman. The Highwayman is a romantic ballad which narrates the story of 2 lovers. A highwayman is a robber who robs travelers on the highway. He is in love with the innkeeper's daughter, Bess. As the poem begins narration, my heart swelled with the feeling of love. Later, it plunged me into the agony of anticipation. And then the poem haunted me through the untimely death of these lovers. And while I sat there staring into the abyss of despair, the poem sprung forth a legend which left me in perpetual longing. Stanza after stanza, I was hit by a storm of emotions I had not even experienced before. And on top of it, my adolescent conscience was giving me a hard time, because it was asking me the question, how can you feel compassion for a robber? Isn't he antisocial? Isn't he evil? 2 days later, I learned something else in school, which helped me get over that guilt of misplaced compassion. I read a short story by Graham Greene, in which the author said that true evil is the man who has no woman to mourn his death. So if there is a woman to love this man, then he can't be evil. I learned a lot of profound things in high school. In my entire education, The only thing that had the biggest impact is those few lessons from high school English literature. That was the harbinger of my love for literature, but I did not realize it then. So just like everyone else, I went on the fool's errand of pursuing a degree and then pursuing a job. During this period of time, there are no books in my life. This is the period I'm a complete idiot because there are no books in my life. Well, the textbooks are there, but they are not books. How did this period end? This period ended when Harry Potter arrived at Hogwarts and a book found its way back into my hands. Since then, books and I had never parted ways. But the problem was Harry Potter books arrived once a year. So languishing between books, I discovered a lot of other authors. The first author whom I discovered was Douglas Adams, the man who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I felt adolescent love again. It was head over heels in love at first book. I read all of Douglas Adams's books in no time. Adams had passed away before his time, and there are not a lot of books of his. So I was distraught because I hadn't had enough of Adams. And guess what? Destiny brings me Woodhouse. If Arthur Dent from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy can make a complete ass of himself in outer space, Bertie Wooster from Woodhouse can make a complete idiot of himself here on Earth. Woodhouse's cast always involved wealthy English bachelors who have nothing to do and can manage to get into trouble in the simplest of situations without any effort. They were the perfect company for a man who believed that his religion is fun. I was having too much fun with these people, so destiny decided it was time for me to grow up. It was time for me to find my rite of passage. It was time for Rushdie. Rushdie introduced me to a world called magical realism. Magical realism is a genre of writing in which you lose sight of the distinction between magic and real. In the world that Rushdie showed me, real is magic. Magic is real. I had seen the world of magic, but Rushdie brought magic into my world. And if it wasn't for that magic, I wouldn't be telling this story. And if it isn't for this story, I wouldn't be able to show you the magic. You see, when we admire someone, when we admire an author, we want to know who they admire. Our heroes have heroes. We want to read the books of our heroes. So my hero, Rushdie, Rushdie's heroes, they're sitting back at home on my dad's bookshelf. Destiny completes the circle and brings me back to that bookshelf. Even now, when I'm home, I sneak a book from that bookshelf. Destiny has ratified that every one of those books is my inheritance. But still, stealing from your dad is an unmatched pleasure. But when I nick that book, that old boy, that small boy, he peeps from behind the bookshelf and asks me a question. If it were possible, would you go live in one of those books? And I tell him, no, I would live here because this is where the books are. Thank you.
Thanks for such a world-shattering speech, Toastmaster Costa, because now I'm looking for my world in books. And as you can see, there is no bookshelf in the background. That means that I can build something from the scratch. And I think this is the inspiration I needed for a very long time. So yeah, that was an amazing speech, and thank you for enlightening all of us with such a speech. Moving on towards the next agenda on our meeting, I would like to move towards the table topics session. For everyone's understanding, table topics session is like an impromptu speaking, which is where it brings out the real aspect of public speaking. While you are in your office and you may ask for your like, what's the status of your project? But you were watching a late night movie and forgot about the project at all. That's where the public speaking skills comes out. Or there are some discrepancies when you fail to file some claims or something and need to ask your HR. Lita might understand this, that can you please do this? I was caught up in an emergency. And that's where public speaking comes out again. So for this session, I would like to invite our table topics master of the day, Toastmaster Souvik, who is a final year engineering student, a NCC C certificate cadet, and as well as an avid altruistic with an NGO called Fly Higher India. He loves swimming, cycling, and you know what? He's also a part-time chef at his home. So now I would like to invite Toastmaster Souvik to the stage, the virtual stage of Speakers Den as the table topic masters of the day. Toastmaster Souvik.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay, for giving such a warm welcome and reducing my job by explaining what table topic session really means. Before we start, I would request all the members present here to have complete unanimity and say that everybody will volunteer and I don't have to call anyone, because this is what you have come to Speakers Den, to improve your public speaking. So the time will be 1 to 2 minutes, and you will be having 5 seconds to 10 seconds to think about the topic. So let's begin then. Any volunteers? Come on, guys, don't be shy. Okay.
Souvik, I would like to nominate myself.
Okay, Toastmaster Tanmay. So today's table topic session is very interesting. I'll be showing you a picture, which is basically a scene of a movie. Either you have to describe what the movie is, or you can describe what the scene is. Or if you don't have any idea, you can just observe the picture and speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Just a second, I'll be giving a...
Now this feels like the SSB interview all over again.
You can see the picture?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Gazab bejjati hai yaar. These iconic lines, like what an insult, what a ridiculous insult. These lines adorned our mind when the Panchayat season when came out. When the groom, who was a Dule Raja, like literally the king, he came for the wedding and he asked the secretary, the Panchayat secretary, for one thing as a gift. That was the office chair, pahiye wali kursi, or as I used to call it, the wheelchair. When I was a kid, I didn't know that wheelchair is something entirely different. So I thought it has wheels, it would be wheelchair. And I often ask that I also want a wheelchair. But this scene showed us the importance of such an inanimate object in the life of a common person. This scene depicts that how a person from village has never seen that office chair with rolling wheels, and he wanted that as a luxury gift item in his wedding. And when he was denied that opportunity, it also shows us a dark side of Indian society, where the groom or the groomsman of anyone from the groom's family is being treated like a god in the wedding scenario. If they make a request, no matter how ridiculous it is, people try to fulfill it. As they say, pagdi utha ke zameen par rakh dena. Like, people literally give away their respect, their own dignity, just to please the groom's family. And that, my friends, is a dark side of Indian society, which is filled with colors, and yet we often forget that black is also one of the colors in this spectrum of colors. But this particular scene, when Dule Raja said Gazab Bejjati hai yaar, is not just immortalized as a depiction of the Indian society, but also as a popular meme. Because whenever you ask your manager or your teammates for something and they fail to do a favor, you need not use a single word. You just send them this meme. Gazab Bejjati hai yaar. And that is where I conclude my speech. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay, for correctly describing the picture as well as the scene. Dr. Pasha, can I request you to come up and take the topic?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is your picture.
This is
You have seen the movie. If you have not watched the movie, then you can just observe and then speak.
yes, sir. I think I have not observed the movie, sir. I think it's the picture of Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan. I
Yes.
don't know the picture is from which.
You can imagine, you can use your imagination and say what the scene might look like. What is happening here?
The scene. This is the. I think this is the ending scene of the movie. The end of the movie, where Amitabh Bachchan is dying. Dharmendra is showing his courtesy towards him. The scene is describing.
Okay, I'll give you another topic at the last then.
Okay.
Toastmaster Ashish, would you like to come up and speak?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. I have a very interesting picture for you. You can see the picture.
Okay, sir. First of all, great thank you for this amazing picture. And it is reminding some scenes of my life. Imagine just you have graduated from college and placed in a new company. You came full prepared. And when you see the surroundings, it was all filled with beautiful flowers. And you are the only bee there. And lots of flowers around you. And you try to follow all the flowers. And some flowers, they will oppose you. And some flowers, they might flutter by your presence. And you run behind them. And you sing different kinds of songs, like Aankhon mein teri ajab si yadaein hain. Then she will also reciprocate with similar kind of song, but that is not for you. That is someone from herself. She might be liking someone else, and she might sing that song for someone else. That is how life is going on. You are dreaming of something, and that thing, if that person is dreaming of someone else, and you have to move ahead with your life. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashish, for explaining the scene. Can I request Toastmaster Simi to come up?
Yeah, okay, sure. Can
I'll
someone give the time?
Take up the timer only.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this scene which I remember is from the movie uh, uh, where Amir Khan teaches his two of his sisters to be bold. How he came to know that they used to be in a small village where girls are not given enough uh, power and the treatment to be involved in any of the physical sports or physical exercises. And it's from the start we have seen girls are just the girls are just someone who should be married off early to cook for somebody else, to who just get involved with someone else. But being the bravest father, he has always wanted a son. But it's not always like sons are the one who can take your heritage forward or be uh, be the same as they are. And also like how the Amir Khan realized that daughters are also so much special is when the two girls hit the street boys while coming from their schools. So that's when it realized like girls are the one who could also do great things in life. And it's not about being a girl or a boy. The genes or anything, it's come from your parents, who they are. So yeah, this movie teaches her everyone is equal, and that's the most important lesson we should be taking forward always. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster
Over
Simi.
to you.
You correctly described the movie. The movie is Dangal, which is a real-based incident movie. Can I request Toastmaster Venkatesh to come up and take a topic?
Yes, sorry.
You can see the screen.
Yes, I have seen it.
Okay.
I think this picture depicts the film's border. In this, I remember that one that army officers, how he is leading the team, and when means beginning started the war. Actually, he has some means few members, and that opposition enemy has more people than him. So he encouraged everyone to fight bravely. And when fighting started between his counterpart and his enemies, and that enemy has more number of army personals and heavy combat vehicle also, and with courage, determination, how he leads the team. And finally he also he also successfully means how he successfully got victory in over enemy. Thank you, Sobi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Venkatesh. Yes, it is the famous Battle of Longewala, which took in 1972, and it was the company of Indian soldiers which wiped out the brigade of Pakistani army tank. Thank you so much. Can I request Toastmaster Chetna to come up? Toastmaster Chetna, would you like to take a topic?
Yeah, sure. Looking at this picture, the scene which I remember is from Bahubali 1, where Bahubali is being killed by the person who had taken care of him right from his childhood, and he tries to kill him from behind. So this story actually depicts that sometimes the person whom you trust the most and who believe that are your mentors and who really has taken care of you, and you treat them like equal to God, and they themselves tend to hit you from behind. It's not the same with with everyone, but in some cases that's such incidents have happened wherein the person whom you trust hits you from behind. And the thing is, sometimes in life you get confused whom to really trust and whom not to trust. So the thing, what we got to do is we need to have a balance between, what to trust and from whom to trust. And also about if at all you're sharing any confidential information, you need to be very careful about whom it needs to be shared to. Because there are people who genuinely wish good for you and who genuinely wants you to do well. But there are also people who, who try to take advantage of you and who tries to put you down. So we need to be very careful in judging about, whom we need to share our personal stuff and whom we really need to consider as our well-wishers. We get to know it through our experience, but at times we need to judge it through our own selves by asking our own mind and our own instinct. Thank you, Savik.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chetna. Can I request Toastmaster Mudassir to come up?
Yeah. Okay, so this is from the movie Chichore. Let me tell you a small anecdote. This movie was shot in my college, IIT Bombay, and in my hostel itself, which was Hostel H4. So we were present during the time this movie was getting shot. And we got to witness a lot of scenes, and the entire campus was decorated for the movie. And I like the concept of the movie, the struggles which are shown throughout the movie, and I like. So there are matches between different hostels. Likewise, there used to be matches between different departments, and I was from aerospace department, and we also had to fight with other departments to get this cultural or sports points. And I remember very well that our department, aerospace department, we did not have any girls. So we were very behind in cultures. And in the year which we were a part of aerospace department, we strived very hard to get at the top of that leaderboard. And for that, we went full on. We asked each and everyone to participate. Even if you don't know to dance, we used to push them to the stage. And even I, who was very shy to ever come on the stage, even I tried to do the group dancing. And eventually our department became first. So this movie also depicts a very similar concept, but here it was a struggle between hostels, and in our case it was struggles between department. But I think the same competition goes on, and it's very good to be on the top at the end of the day. So that's my take on the top.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mudassir. Can I request a Toastmaster Dhuman?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So I see, I don't know about this movie, but I see a fighting scene happening. And there's one person who looks like, I don't know, is he I don't know, he's like the main guy from whatever. I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. It looks like it must be some sort of either a science fiction movie or yeah, something something that is like little bit fantasy like. And then there is there's I see some two red dots. I guess it must be like they have like some superpower or something using those things. It must be that the person must be going on some quest, I guess, or something. And but I don't know any more information about this movie. It looks like actually everyone is on one side only. Like we cannot see who is the opponent whom they're fighting with. And yeah, back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bhuvan. Well, basically, this is the famous scene of Avengers Endgame where Captain America says, Avenger assemble, and they're fighting with Thanos. Never mind.
Okay.
Can I request Toastmaster Kostov?
Yep.
Yes, 1 minute. The picture is visible.
Yes, yes. I'm speechless. There has been a serious infiltration of the language Hindi in the meeting this morning. So I would like to uphold the tradition of the nauseating and revolting British and speak only in English. And I would like to focus on that one message in this screenshot, which is in English, which is activate Windows. This has been a problem that has plagued the software industry for a very long time, piracy. And it is a tradition that is ingrained for some reason into the very fabric of the outlook of Indians, that it's okay to get away with pirated software. I have a very poor view about that whole mindset. I think we should all I think we should all appreciate the fact that this industry has turned the world around, and a lot of effort has gone into the beautiful products that are created there. And even though it is available to us, probably through these malicious channels, we should grow the fundamental fiber of morality and stop using them. I'm not saying that your copy is pirated. I just got thinking that, okay? Obviously, if you want to get a pirated copy now, I don't think it is even possible. But I'm definitely not talking about your this thing, but I'm talking about generally Indians' attitude towards how we are okay with using pirated software that we hadn't paid for. That's what I want to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Costa. Well, I got this laptop when I was in 10th standard, so from that time it's there. And the movie was Munna Bhai MBBS, where he hugs that guy. Well, can I ask Toastmaster Relevant to come up?
Yes, Souvik. So this scene is from a movie called Harry Potter, and I'm not sure which part of Harry Potter is it. I've not watched any Harry Potter movies, though. Like I just watched first one. I think the actors are here. One is Emma Watson. The other one is I forgot his name. Looks like it's a climax of the movie where they're fighting a creature, I guess. Okay, the actor's name is Daniel Radcliffe. I'm not able to think more on this topic.
Well, you can form any story of your choice. It's
Talk about the poor construction quality of the bridge.
Okay, so
Or the dressing sense.
I mean, since the bridge is broken, I guess the quality of the bridge might have been very poor, and the actors look injured.
well. Thank you so much. Even I haven't watched this movie, so I'm not. I don't know what is the climax scene. Never mind. Can I ask Toastmaster Shankhu to come up?
Sure. Okay. So I know almost every one of you know that this picture is from the Three Idiots, but let me take out a different context altogether. Now imagine these three guys has joined the corporate world for the first time. Now what will happen? You see their happy face. This is the time when HR has told them that, hey, welcome to the world of corporates. This is a great place where you can earn your fortune. And this is exactly the face, a happy face, which will resemble, and they will start scratching each other's back as well. That's the beginning of the corporate life, ladies and gentlemen. But what is missing from this picture is the after effect. Now, once we join the company, once these three guys join the company, after down the line, I mean, maybe like 1 or 2 months down the line, their team leader called upon a meeting, and they said that you need to work hard. This is not what I expected. And imagine Amir Khan's face says, all is well, all is well. But imagine the other two guys who are like fond of drinking and one is fond of the photography. So what will their passion would be? So they will go to the nearest chai ka adda or the tea shop. They will pay $5 for the tea and they will start bitch biting on the boss's sake. My passion was photography. I don't know why I am here. Another one will say my passion was all is well. I should have gone into an engineering field, but I don't know what I'm here. The third one will always say that my passion is drinking because that's what I believe in. So that's a universal story of all the corporate world, and that's how the life flows. And that's what this movie can also be depicted as. Thank you so much, and over to you, Toastmaster Souvik.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shamcha. You correctly gave us the insight of what happens in corporate. Can I request now Toastmaster Sonal?
Well, I think it's better I don't speak because I'm the general evaluator, so I'll have a lot to speak. So I think I don't want to deprive anybody of an opportunity. So you can cover something you haven't given.
Okay. Toastmaster Lalita.
Yes.
You have seen the movie?
No.
You have any idea? Or you want me to change the picture?
Would be better.
Okay, I'll change it just a minute.
Okay. I'm not sure if I watch this movie. So anyhow, I think there is Amir. No, this is Hrithik Roshan and I don't know the other two actors. So it looks like they have a race and people are all watching the race, and I think like the middle person is about to win the race, and the other two actors, they're just trying to compete, and they're also like trying to come first. And I think like all the audience, they're just watching it, and they're just motivating the people to win the race. So I'm not sure which movie is this, and so over to you, Toastmaster.
Okay, so the movie is Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, and
Okay.
the scene is that bulls are running behind them, and they are not competing against each other. They're competing against the bull. So there is a famous sports in Spain where this happens.
Okay.
Anyone who is left except Toastmaster Sonal. Toastmaster Pasha, would you like to give it a try?
Yes, sir, I'll try, sir.
So we can move on to the next segment then.
Okay, back to Timon then. Back to Toastmaster Tanmay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Souvik, for a wonderful table topic session with such exciting topics and images, which forced us all to use our imagination as well as walk over memories to rewatch that movies in our mind. In the usual Toastmasters meeting, the next step is generally the evaluation section. But before that, if it's okay with everyone, I would like to start with the elections. Would that be all right?
Maybe we can cover the GE first, and after that.
Okay, all right. Then we will go ahead with the evaluation section only. And for that, I would like to invite Toastmaster Sonal, the general evaluator of the day. Over to you, Toastmaster Sonal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay. Okay, so I will first do the individual evaluations and then go into the general evaluations. So our first speaker for today was Toastmaster Lalita, and to evaluate her speech, we have Toastmaster Tanmay.
Hello all, I am back yet again. Lalita, first of all, I would like to congratulate you for attempting this icebreaker speech and presentation mastery. And it was a great speech, like the entire content was well structured, and you talked about yourself, which I think is very important, given that you are new to the club, and it's the easiest topic also to cover. There are a couple of things which I noticed which could have been better, such as during the entire course of your speech, you were moving from one leg to another, something like this, which was a little distracting. And it's possible that it was happening because of a jittery or like anxiety because of your first speech, which is a totally natural thing to happen. So do not worry much about it, and focus more on your speech part. Now, coming on to your speech, I would say that content was really good. It was immaculate. You started with the story of a little girl, and you actually did that. Like your title justified your speech. You were able to capture the essence of your life journey from starting from your birth in Bangalore to your current status, like how you did your M in HR and public administration, everything. And you also talked about the major influences on your personal life, your parents, and how they always inspired you to follow your passion. A couple of things, if I talk about from your evaluation resource, evaluation sheet point of view, you definitely have a clarity, but one thing which could have been better was the vocal variety. For example, when you're stressing about a decision, you could have given some stress on it. And this vocal variety could have been accompanied with your facial expression or your body movements. Because the use of body movements allows you to use much of this limited space. Right now, we're in virtual setting. So using your hands, maybe account for years, for example, first year, second year, third year, or maybe like long time back. So use a bit more of your body expressions. One thing that I would advise you is to slow down your pace a bit. Right now, during the entire speech, it was like that you were reading from a pamphlet, which was definitely not the case because it's reading seems different, but your pace was monotonous. It was something like, yeah, so I started sharing my screen and then I went to this meeting and then I logged in, because this is like, you are not paying attention to your audience. While we are attempting any speech, be it in a Toastmaster setting or in a public setting or in a professional setting, the idea is to convey your message to your audience. Your audience varies from every place, but for them to understand, you need to take pauses. You need to make sure that they are also on the same page as you. So these are some suggestions which you can implement. And in the end, I would like to end my evaluation with one quote that you used in your speech. Instructions end with a school, but education goes on for life. And that I think is true in every case, including Toastmasters. Thank you, Lalita. Back to you, Toastmaster Sonal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanmay. As the general evaluator, it is my duty to, it is my responsibility to evaluate the evaluator. I think we have to be a little more mindful when we are evaluating an icebreaker. I think there were too many suggestions for an icebreaker. We first have to appreciate it takes a lot of courage. It takes, overcoming challenges to come out here and deliver your icebreaker. Because not all of us come from speaking backgrounds. So I think, in our club in Garden City, we don't even give them feedback. We don't even give them points of improvement when we deliver icebreakers, because it takes a lot to come and deliver a speech. So I think, Lalita, I think it's a very good thing that you actually came up and you delivered your speech. I think since it is your first speech, don't go into vocal variety. You haven't yet gone there. Just enjoy your speech. Everything else will fall into place. I don't think you have to take any of the feedback very seriously. Yes, Toastmaster, what Tanmay said was absolutely spot on. But I think it's too much, too heavy for an icebreaker. I think just enjoy your speeches. I wish you a very, very successful, fulfilling and satisfying Toastmasters journey ahead. I wish you all the best. And now we will go to our second speech, Toastmaster Kaustav, and to evaluate his speech, we have Toastmaster Tanmay, Sankhya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonal. Toastmaster Kaustav, what a beautiful start you started off with. The theme, the title of the speech which you choose, Where the Books Are, and I must appreciate the fact that your entire speech was very much correlated with the books. As I can see from your background as well, you are a bookworm and your life is spanned across the books. And that's what is reflected in this beautiful speech. Now, while you started off with the various books, you took us into a wonderful journey that how the books impacted your life. You started off with how your dad influenced you with the books, and then slowly and slowly you moved on to various types of books which you got in your life. If I have to, go inside the speech, I would say in terms of the clarity, it was like really, really nice. Your voice was very much clear. But here there's a small point of improvement, which I would say, while your overall speech was absolute clear, I mean, it was absolutely great, but towards the end of certain lines, some of the words were getting dropped down. For example, when you were mentioning about a particular author, when you were growing up, you spoke about, so now this author name, I'm still not able to understand whether it's Roshni, Leslie, or Rajdeep. When you spoke about the magical or the real things, about that book. This is only the small thing which I would recommend. In terms of your vocal variety, your tone and the pace that you spoke with was absolutely fantastic. You mentioned you maintained a very good eye contact, because sometimes you look down, sometimes you look towards the camera. It was very natural. We couldn't find out, you try to do it forcefully. It's something which comes very natural to you. And same goes for your overall gestures as well, your hand movement, your little bit movement towards across the screen. It was really nice. In terms of the comfort level, you are absolutely at ease. That shows a great confidence on your overall speech, and on your speech was so much well organized, I would say, that you had a total control that what you want to speak. It does not seem to us, I mean, although we know that as a prepared speaker, we have to remember our speech, we have to edit and re-edit a couple of times, and sometimes we forget. But when you come on the stage, we didn't see, I mean, it didn't seem to us that you are remembering the speech and telling it. Is it as if it's a story? And that's what the overall objective of the speech was, that you have to narrate an entire story about the speech. In terms of your interest for the audiences, yes, I would highly say that I was completely engaged on the speech, because even I am also a bookworm, but not like you. But but the way you created your story, it fully engages the audiences about the various journeys of your books. So I would, you want to give a round of applause for you to take us to an awesome journey. That's and over to you, Toastmaster Sonal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sankhya. It's both, it's both a privilege and an unnerving experience to evaluate Toastmaster Kaustubh's speech, because he's one of the best speakers in the district. And it's always very difficult to evaluate somebody's speech. And I've heard so much from the district about how he's a word wizard and how he plays magic with his words and things like that. Today, I got to witness it. So thank you, Kaustubh. I liked the entire speech. It was so informative and enriching. The only thing is, I felt there were a little distractions. You were pulling your shirt like this, you were putting your hands in the pocket, but otherwise, I think it was a treat for the eyes and music to the ears, because I don't get to listen to this kind of vocabulary normally. So it's a rare, it's a rarity. So thank you so much. So can we have a huge round of applause for both Toastmaster Sankhya and Toastmaster Kaustubh? Now I'd like to take the report from the timer.
Hello, Sunny. Yeah, General Evaluator, the speech, can I know the speaker one timing from Toastmaster Sankhya?
4.52, 4 minutes, 52 seconds.
Yeah, so speaker one is not qualified.
No, it's qualified, it's an icebreaker, 4 to 6 minutes.
Okay, sure. Speaker one, all of them are qualified except Lalita for Toastmaster table topics, and Toastmaster Pasha for table topics.
Toastmaster Lalita in prepared speech, you're saying?
No, in table topics.
Okay, she's
in
not
table
qualified.
topics and table topics. Her timing was 35 seconds.
Okay, so Toastmaster Lalita and Toastmaster Pasha are not qualified for voting. Yeah. So, and what about the evaluations?
Yeah, so for evaluators, evaluator one, Tanmay took 2 minutes 54 seconds. Evaluator 2, Sankhya took 3 minutes 2 seconds.
Yes, okay, so all are qualified. So thank you, Toastmaster Simi. And can we take the account report from Toastmaster Velavan?
The account report for speaker Lalita is the R filler was used 10 times and so was used like 18 times. Kaustubh was all clear. On the table topics, Ashish used the R filler 2 times, Simi 5 times, Venkatesh 10 times, and 4 ums, Chetana 7 As and 6 Unos, Mudasir 13 As and 5 times, Lalita 8 As and 5 times. That was the report.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Velavan. I don't know how I didn't figure in that list. But, you know, I think we can cap it at 5. So we can say that, he, like, for example, Toastmaster Sonal used R more than 5 times. So we'll cap it at 5 because, there was one meeting where the accountant told me I had 68 hours. And it was so, it was very demoralizing, but I don't get disheartened very easily. So, sometimes it's very demoralizing. So we can say she used more than 5 hours. So we don't have to say she used 10 hours or 18 hours. So we can keep that, right? Yeah. And can I have the grammarian report from Toastmaster?
Okay. So I'll go through some of the good usage by our speakers, and then I'll talk about the bad usage and the usage of the word of the day. So we started with Toastmaster Lalita. I like the fact that she gave her entire speech in the third person's point of view. This is the first time I've seen it done as an icebreaker. She not only told about what she is or from where she is, but what a person she is by using the phrase like studious, obedient, silent. Then she used a wonderful phrase at the end: instruction and only in school, and education and only in life. So this was a good usage in her part. Kaustubh's speech was full of wonderful words, and I was just writing, scribbling, and I even missed out few of them. So he also started with from a third person's point of view, like he was arrogant, and then he converted to first person's point of view. I like the shift that happened in between. Some of the phrases like heart swell with love, quenched in agony, perpetual longing, religion is fun, harbinger, and adolescence love. So yeah, these are the few I noted in case of Toastmaster Kaustubh. Then come to the table topic speakers. We started with Tanmay. So he used a lot of Hindi phrases, but he made a good job of converting them or translating them to English. So that part was good. Ashish made use of metaphors by comparing flowers and bees with girls and boys. And I like one particular phrase like the flower petals fluttered in your presence. So this was a good phrase. Then again, Kaustubh in his speech used some of very good vocabulary in terms of privacy, malicious activity, and Tanmay in his evaluation used the phrase, it was an immaculate speech. So all these phrases were really good, and I've noted it down. I'll share it in the group. Some of the bad usage, which I think was there, we don't call dared very well. It doesn't fit well. In a single sentence, a person used some member, few member, which was not good. We should use either of the two. A speaker used behind instead of back, and like it's not a behind stabber, it's back stabber. So it's like that. Some of the pronunciations were not very good. Like one person used anime instead of anime. So yeah, these were the bad usage. The word of the day was used only once by Toastmaster, table topic master, Toastmaster Saurabh. So this was my report. Over to you, Jindal Evaluate.
Thank you, Toastmaster Muddassir Ali. We have good usages and the not so good usages of the English language. I think bad is a very, very strong word, so we can refrain from using that. So then now I will go into the general evaluations. The meeting started at 11 o'clock in 5 minutes by Toastmaster Sankyam, who was our acting sergeant at arms, and whatever role he takes up, very seriously. He doesn't do something because he has to do it just for the sake of doing it. And I think this showed because Toastmaster Tanmay, he was the wild card sergeant at arms for today. And he had this very emphatic opening, brought in a lot of enthusiasm and energy. He laid down the ground rules. He very eloquently introduced the presiding officer, Toastmaster, Area Director Toastmaster Muddassir. Can we have a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Sankhya? Then who passed it on to our president, the presiding officer. He covered his role well. The only area of improvement or suggestion I can give is speak about a minute or two about the theme of the day. Because he just directly handed it over to the TMOD. I think as soon as you're given the baton, you can speak for 1 or 2 minutes on the theme of today, then go on to speak about the movement, and then pass. I think here in this club, they speak about the movement. The president speaks about the movement. So speak about the movement and then give it to the TMOD. So add your take or give your take on the theme of the day. So otherwise, you did it very well. Can we have a huge round of applause for Area Director Toastmaster Mudassir? Then who pass it on to Toastmaster Tanmay. Toastmaster Tanmay, I've said this so many times and I'll say this again. You bring in a rare kind of energy to the meeting, especially on Sunday mornings. You make sure that we sit up and take notice of you. Your energy is contagious. You make even like somebody sleepy wake up and take notice of you. You're that kind of person. And what I liked is, you know, what you said, the wild card TMOD, you left me in splits. You know, it was such a gloomy Sunday morning. You just left me in splits. So I think taking up something as big as a role as the TMOD and to do it in such short notice and in the manner that you did, I think is exemplary. Can we have a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Tanmay? The only the only area of improvement is, I think, when you're introducing somebody, you can first take the evaluation resource, the guidelines, evaluation guidelines, and then introduce the speakers. Because when you introduce the speaker and then go to the evaluator for the evaluation guidelines, we already lose interest in the speaker. So I think that you can take care of. And I think when you introduce the TTM, you just have to introduce the table topic master. You don't have to talk about what the table topic session is about, because somewhere you're taking away from the stage time of the table topic master. Otherwise, I think a great job done. Can we have a huge round of applause for our energetic TMOD? Then we had our table topic session conducted by Toastmaster Souvik. You know, it was a very different table topic session. It was not the regular, but in this, what happened is somebody like me, who's a South Indian, who doesn't follow Hindi movies, who doesn't watch movies, I found it a little difficult to understand what's happening. Toastmaster Ashish, I find him quite funny. So, you know, I just kept laughing, but I didn't understand what he was saying. He sang a Hindi song. I mean, I sang a Hindi song in my speech, but you know, I don't understand this because I don't understand Hindi. So I think, you know, we can keep it a little generic so that people from diverse backgrounds are able to understand and relate to it. And I wish you'd also set the ground rules, like, for example, for Toastmaster Pasha. So if you have not seen the movie, just make sense out of whatever you can make from the picture and speak on it. Give your take on it, because most of us have not seen those movies and we don't know what it is about. I don't even know the name of the film actors. So I think next time be a little mindful that you give some topic which is relatable to everybody. So otherwise, I think very well done. Can we have a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Souvik? And with that, we come to the end of the general evaluation session. Back to Mr. TMOD. Tanmay.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was speaking, I was on mute. Thank you, Toastmaster Sonal, for the general evaluation. Now we'll move towards the main agenda of the day, which is the elections. And for that, I would like to invite our election officer, Toastmaster Ashish. Toastmaster Ashish, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible and visible? Thank you. And it was a wonderful day and wonderful meeting. I came to know so many great things from this meeting. And now we will move ahead with the election. Like in our country, we are choosing the Prime Minister, President, everything, and they are responsible for managing our country. They are responsible for taking different decisions that will take our country to a new height. Similarly, in Toastmasters, we are having elections, and that election the members who are getting nominated, they are working 6 months round the clock to take the club to new heights. Now it is the election time, and let's move ahead with our election for today. Serving as an officer in our clubs is an honor and is part of our Toastmasters promise. Holding quality elections to select those best prepared and ready to serve the club and its members as part of the leadership team is the beginning of a great club year. So I am welcoming you all to this election season. So we will begin with Sergeant at Arms. For the office of Sergeant at Arms, the nominating committee has nominated Toastmaster Lalita. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Are there any other nominations from the floor? Okay, as I'm not getting any response, the nominations for the Sergeant at Arms are now closed. And since without objections, and since there is only one candidate for the office of Sergeant at Arms, we will forgo the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of Club for Lalita. So let's welcome Toastmaster Lalita as our upcoming Sergeant at Arms. Now for the next, that is for the office of Treasurer. The nominating committee has nominated Toastmaster Mudassir. Are there any other nominations from the floor for the role of Treasurer? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Hearing none, the nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of Treasurer, we will forgo the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Toastmaster Mudassir. Congratulations, Toastmaster Mudassir, for the new Treasurer. Now we will move ahead for the next office bearer, that is for the office of Secretary. And the nominating committee has nominated Toastmaster Sonal. Are there any further nominations from the floor for the role of Secretary? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Okay, so the nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of Secretary, we will forgo the secret ballot and instruct the Secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Toastmaster Sonal. Welcome Sonal as the new Secretary for Speaker Dance Toastmaster Club. Now let's move ahead with our next office bearer role, and it is for the office of Vice President of Public Relations. And the nominating committee has nominated Toastmaster Simi. Are there any further nominations from the floor for the role of Vice President of Public Relations? Are there any further nominations from the floor? So the nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of Vice President of Public Relations, we will forgo the secret ballot and instruct the Secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Toastmaster Simi. Congratulations, Toastmaster Simi, for the new Vice President of Public Relations of Speakers Den Toastmasters Club. Now let's move to the next office role for the office of Vice President of Membership. The nominating committee has nominated Toastmaster Sankhya. Are there any further nominations from the floor for the role of Vice President of Membership? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Okay, so the nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of Vice President of Membership, we will forgo the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Toastmaster Sankhya. Congratulations, Toastmaster Sankhya, as the new Vice President of Membership for Speakers Den Toastmasters Club. Now, let's move to the second most important position in a club, for the office of Vice President of Education. And the nominating committee has nominated Toastmaster Sobik. Are there any further nominations from the floor for the role of Vice President of Education? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Okay, so the nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of Vice President of Education, we will forgo the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Toastmaster Sobik. Congratulations, Toastmaster Sobik, as a new Vice President of Education for Speakers Den Toastmasters Club. Now, the most important positions of Speakers Den Toastmasters Club, the office of President. And for this position, the nominating committee has nominated Toastmaster Tanmay. Are there any further nominations from the floor for the role of President for Speakers Den Toastmasters Club? Are there any further nominations from the floor? Okay, as I'm not getting any response, the nominations are now closed. Without objection, since there is only one candidate for the office of President, we will forgo the secret ballot and instruct the secretary to cast a single vote on behalf of the club for Toastmaster Tanmay. Congratulations, Toastmaster Tanmay, for the new President of Speakers Den Toastmasters Club. And I would like to thank the entire new team, and I'm expecting that all the members will give their 100% efforts and take this club to a new height and bring more accolades to our club in the district level, in the area level, and in the hopefully we will have some speaker in the future that will take our club to the international level also. And with this, I am wrapping up the election procedure. And now the floor is open for everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashish, the election officer of the day, the election commission of Speakers Den. And with this, I wish a very warm congratulations to all of the elected officials. And this is a great moment, and we would be working towards improving our club in the coming term as well. Now, I will move this meeting back to the presiding officer for the concluding remarks. Over to you, Toastmaster Mudassir.
First of all, congratulations to all the selected officers for the coming term. I wish you best of luck for the next term, and I hope you will take the Speakers Den Toastmasters Club to great heights. I would also like to thank our election officer, Toastmaster Ashish, for conducting the entire sessions so smoothly. There were no floor nominations, and we were able to conduct the entire session, I think, in less than 10-15 minutes. So thank you for agreeing to take up the election officer role and conducting the session with such an ease. So I would like to call the new president of Speakers Den Toastmasters Club to talk about his vision for the upcoming term. Toastmaster Tanmay, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mudassir. So for the upcoming term, we have a huge challenge we have a lot of members who are still stuck with their speeches. So everyone, I request your support in making sure that we propel forward, we move forward, and we just not stop at overcoming like 1 or 2 levels of your speech. We should strive toward completing our entire pathways. And I want to make sure, and I would love to give it like everything that I've got to ensure that we get as many awards as possible for this club's, for its members' achievements, for the club achievements. And that is only possible with the support of not just the club members, but also all of the members of this club. Because Toastmasters is a pyramid where remember the member takes precedence over everything. In the end, it's all about members. And if it's not for you, we wouldn't be here. The speakers wouldn't be here. So do not think that if you are not the club officer, you do not have any responsibility towards the club. You have more responsibility than the club officers, because you are the ones who would be bringing in the ideas, which might not just directly come to the elected officials. If you have any ideas, just let us know. We'll try to evaluate it and implement it as soon as possible in the best interest of the club and the members. And as part of this, we will also try to have an offline meeting in the coming months, because it's been a long time since any of us met. And most of the members have not met any of us, and I'm one of them. So we will be doing that as well. But before that, let's work toward completing, toward coming to the meeting. Even if you're not taking any role, just showing up is a very big thing. Because when you show up, you learn. You learn from the people who are there, who are speaking, who are taking roles, and they share their point of view. They share their stories. And that is the crux of human civilization as well. We strive on stories. So let's come here, share our stories, learn from each other, and just have fun. Thank you. Back to current president, Toastmasters.
I would like to call Toastmaster Sonal. She had shared an interest to share something to us. Toastmaster Sonal, would you like to come?
Yeah, I don't know, am I visible?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So what I wanted to say is this year we're celebrating, I'm sure Mudassir knows, 30 years of Toastmasters in India. And my home club, Garden City, was the first Toastmasters club in India. So this next Sunday, we will be celebrating, it's an offline meeting. We are going to celebrate our 1500th meeting. I invite you all. So if any of you are interested, please let me know. I will share the link and you can register and come for the event. So please do come, whoever is interested. It's between 4 and 7 next Sunday, the 19th in EGL, Domlur. So whoever wants to come, just let me know. I will send you the registration link. Yeah, back to Mudassir.
Okay. It's Sunday. What is the time?
4 to 7.
4 to 7.
4 to 7 p.m. in the evening. I will share the poster.
It's somewhere else, the poster. Yeah, please do.
Okay. So with this, I declare the meeting number 283 close. And the floor is open. If anyone would like to speak anything.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to apologize to all the members for bringing the surprise element in today's meeting with surprise role takers. Because I was traveling and my train was delayed for 1 hour.
I'm today double surprise for me from Ashish. He didn't turn up as CMOD, nor did he become president. So normally VP Education becomes president. So it was a double surprise.
Yeah, actually I had some other commitments and I am not able to give my 100%